It was a night I shall never forget. It was crisp, the air surrounded purely in dark, rich velvet coloring, like a clock made of onyx. The moon was dim, creamy and greeting. The wind was light but chilling, as if sent from the Arctic as a warning. A warning. Perhaps that is why the trees danced an invisible waltz, and the path seemed to stretch aimlessly, the cobblestones damp against my bare feet. However, I was locked onto the stirring inside, the howling and impulsive yearning that squeezed my heart and filled the pit of my stomach. I blinked my baby blue eyes once more and swallowed my yearning to become days, continuing forward as I held my white shawl tight against me. Nothing was scary about this night. I had never seen one so beautiful. However, it was eerie, sickening like poison. Yet I adored it, craved to be in its sweet embrace. The sun would feel like a curse. I have never been comfortable in the light, although my heart is filled with it. The moon was my only friend, and the darkness my comfort, my stage, my world. I wanted to be protected, not seen or praised. Nothing in the dark was superficial. The dirt and pebble path became brown now instead of slippery black, but still twisted and bent like a serpent. I was used to this path and could walk it blind, but I did not want to miss a second of the thrill of the pitch-toned night. I was not sure why I felt so gothic. I had just come from seeing the love of my life, his very name placing a flawless white grin on my flushed, pale face. He was my gold, my warmth, my strength, and my weakness. He was everything. I could never stray from him or his promises. However, I loved the feeling of betrayal this night, wanting to give everything up to be frozen in this spot. Why? I was not sure. Shameful? Not as much as I knew I should have been. I wobbled sideways a little, dizzy from overthinking. I loved the risk, the chance, the danger. Sweet little Clara wanting to bleed, to scrape her knee, to feel the pain in her aching bones. What a treat that would be for the world. I sighed, giggling like a bell to myself, before continuing home where all these melancholy feelings would vanish. The large evergreen-toned bush was a few feet ahead, perfectly growing on the side of the path. Home was only halfway now, the wind whistling, grunting, growling, and groaning in agony. The direction was northeast. There, lying on the ground in front of a bush, was a young man. His face was embedded in the mud, his body motionless, other than his flawless breathing. He was rigid but alluring, like the smell of smoke. He was dressed in pure black, the same colors of the precious night, with skin paler than mine, probably paler than the guardian moon. The ways I was raised spoke inside me, telling me to flee. However, my sharp wits I inherited from this blessed darkness was pushing me forward. It was a calling I could not ignore. Dew dripped from his curly midnight locks. The thickness of his baby eyelashes shaped his young face. Lips that had to have been formed from the craftsman of the heavens, and a pink as a romantic rose kissed the soft mud. I smiled down at him, bending to get a closer look at his condition. He looked like an injured deer that no one wanted, that no one appreciated. I brushed his smooth cheek with the side of my finger until he wiggled his face, making my body jump on impulse. He was just as confused, pulling all his muscles to gaze into my eyes weakly. His eyes were crimson with a hint of midnight blue reflecting from the corners of his pupils. I gulped, not sure what to say to allow him to know I was here to help, to bathe him in the glory of the perfect night. I placed my hands on my knees, ruffling my lace-white spring dress as I extended my silky hand to his, afraid my bones would not be able to support him. "Are you all right?" I asked sweetly, cocking my head like a puppy. His lips became chapped from a shifting wind, and he licked them seductively, an alluring spark entering his eyes. Yet a cloud of shame dusted his face, a mask that could never be decoded. He crawled to me, using his elbows as support, heaving with every centimeter. Huffing, he gazed once more into my eyes, searching and scanning my face. His body trembled into an earthquake. His eyes met with regret, remorse, revenge. Alarms were blazing into my brain, seeping messages that the doe might actually transform into a wolf. But his presence, his essence, his soul was drawing me in, was capturing me. The wind grew strong, raindrops descending from the sky suddenly. Next, ash-colored snow was mixed in, adding to the twirls and twists of the magically appearing clouds. I held my chest tightly, sucked into the wonder of the vortex I was in. A glimmer caught my eye from the young man's teeth, a diamond in a rock. He grabbed my arm with a hard pressure, making me have to bite my quivering lip not to scream. Our eyes met one last time, my heart exploding with desire and dread, longing and fear, thrill and terror. He stroked my hand and placed a gentle kiss on it before grabbing my cheek, tracing his perfect fingers around my collarbone. "I'm sorry." His voice choked with disgrace. The sky turned into hatred, bringing down all the willpower and strength in my cells. I knew it would be the end, but I did not mind. I had a good life, and I was too content with the night to be sorrowful. Then, as he was dipping me into his arms, it hit me. Austin. My love, my breath, my pulse, my fiancé. That is why I could be brave in a world of light I was forced to live, because I only needed him. And now, I was never going to see him. My mind was screaming his name, his face fading off into darkness. He was the only thing I did not want to be captured in the pitch. For the first time, I hated the night. I wanted the sun to blow it up, burn it to save Austin. The storm outside was nothing compared to the chaos in my heart. I wanted to live in this night, but to have Austin. What was I to do? Weakly, I moved my lips, feeling only tender and painful vibrations. The sky was haunting, chilling, adoring, all I wanted, and it buried me, making me unsettled. Before I could reach out to heaven to pray for Austin, I felt a pang of pain, the aroma of blood, and the tilting of my head back into the depths of nothing.